It's gonna be alright.
Hello and welcome to SusPOD, the official podcast for all things Bristol Suspensions. I'm Alessia, the current marketing manager of the group, which is a UK mixed a cappella group from the University of Bristol. We are currently in our 10th generation, so to celebrate that, we're going to be holding our 10-year anniversary show on February 3rd in Bristol. So basically, this mini-series is where we're going to be talking to each gen, or members of each gen, and talking about their experiences, the songs they sung, their highlights, and of course, a little bit of a cappella gossip. We cannot wait to have you listen, but for now, enjoy the episode.
Hiya, today I am joined by two members from Generation 8 of the Suspensions. We have Ben and Ryan. Hey guys.
Hello.
Lovely to have you, lovely to see you. How you guys doing?
Good.
Not too
Good.
bad, not too shabby.
Good, lovely. So first of all, I want to know about how you got to know Suspensions and what made you want to join. So first of all, Ben, you were in Out of the Blue, right?
I was, yeah, for four years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's a really long time. So then how did you hear about Sus through the a cappella community?
Pretty much. I remember it exactly, actually. I went to watch the ICCAs in 2018, in the semi-finals in London, and I saw the Suspensions doing that. What would that have been?
was Gen 4.
Gen 4.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So a couple of episodes ago now.
A couple of episodes
Make sure
ago.
you watch it.
Go back and rewatch
Go
it.
back and then come back here.
I did watch them, and their performance, their beatboxing, I was hooked. I was a fan from that moment, and they came second. I remember it was and I was immediately like, I want to be in that group, and that stuck with me for 4 years.
Wow.
That's crazy.
That is a long time.
It was a little bit crazy, and even crazier that I managed to, get in. And
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
gonna say, set yourself a goal and then completing it.
yeah.
Manifesting from that day one.
Good
And so
energy.
did you, after you graduated from Oxford, what was the process of like moving to Bristol?
Well, I didn't know if I was gonna get into the group, so I had a few journeys down, kind of did my auditions, and then got in, which was awesome. So immediately, it was like, okay, I actually definitely need to find a place now. So I found a place. Had to like commute to rehearsals for like a month and a half. It was all a lot of fun. And then I found a place and lived in Bristol for a year.
So did you move to Bristol to audition for Suspensions? Or where were you in life at that point?
I just graduated. I was like, I want a kind of gap year, essentially.
Yeah.
Just a year of recovery, and what better way to spend it than, doing more a cappella. So yeah, that is why I moved to Bristol.
That's
so
cool.
cool.
That's amazing.
I don't know if cool is the word for it.
It's cool to us.
Welcome to a cappella.
And anyone listening to episode 8 of a podcast about a cappella probably
Yeah,
also thinks
they're
it's cool.
also hooked. And what about you, Ryan? How did you hear about Sus?
Well, after that really exciting, very different one, I am the same as I think probably most people that we've had on the show so far. I went to a musical theatre
The
audition.
classic.
And,
The classic. And then you just, in the queue, people are like, a cappella.
Yeah, well, it was like in my audition, after I'd done my singing, two people stood up. That makes it sound so much more dramatic. They stood up slowly and they turned to me and they went, "You need to do a cappella." It wasn't quite like that, but that's how I like to tell people it happens.
Yeah.
Just kind of zeroed in on you.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
then the rest is history.
I love how there's so much of a crossover with musical theatre and a cappella. Why do you think that is?
That's a good question.
There's definitely there's similar. I don't know if like it's inherent to a cappella or musical theatre, but they often seem to have kind of similar vibes of like just getting up, singing your heart out with a group. Like fun vibes, little cringy, but it's all in
cringy, little
kind of-
cheesy.
yeah,
I was gonna say,
Choreo.
yeah.
it takes a very specific kind of person to be able to stand up and like do that. Like I think both musical theatre and a cappella, if you don't give it your all, can just be like really cringy. And it takes like the right kind of person to be able to get up there and like enjoy it and like not have a care about it.
There's
And I think like that's the overlap is just the kind of person you need to do it. Is there?
Yeah.
there's the need to be like, if you don't look silly, then you are gonna look silly.
Yeah.
'Cause everyone
That's
else
true.
looks.
Yeah.
Everyone
That
else is looking
true.
silly.
Like what is that phrase? Like if you feel stupid, then you're doing it right. Is that it?
I don't.
Sounds good.
That's my motto
works.
in life.
Words to live by.
Words to live by. So Generation 8 was like our kind of comeback year after COVID. So we were finally rehearsing in person. We were doing some gigs. What were some gigs and highlights that kind of stick out for you guys?
There are loads.
Yeah.
Like ICCAs, it was the first time I'd ever done an a cappella competition.
Oh,
So that was so exciting. Like getting to kind of the kind of pressure that's on you, and like getting to hang out with all the other groups. And then we did
Yeah.
it again with OAC, which was
Yeah.
lovely.
I was gonna say OAC was so much fun because it was like at that point it was quite late on in the year, so we'd already met a couple of the groups that were going up. We already had quite good relationships with a couple of groups, so it was like I think Rolling Tones were there that year and they were really lovely.
Yeah.
Were they there? That
They
year?
were there.
I thought they were.
They were. That like we hung out with them, and they were. It was lovely.
Oh my god, because that was Venus year. That's
Yes.
Yes.
such a good,
Love that.
Such a good song.
Love that.
Yeah.
so
Shout
much.
out to the Tones.
One of my favorite
Um,
acapella things.
Yeah, and so what else sticks out? Like for me, a favorite moment was recording "In Case You Don't Live Forever," and I just loved that song. First of all, because of like how gorgeous.
Gorgeous. Gorgeous.
First of all,
Gorgeous.
because of how gorgeous it is, and then also the fact that we kind of intertwined our childhood videos. It's a really emotional video. It's really sweet. So yeah, what do you guys remember of
I
that day recording it?
It was really nice of the Botanic Gardens to let us film there because it was like it
Shout out
just
to the
gave-
Botanic Garden.
all the shout outs this episode. No, they were like, it was just so cool to be there because it's, you know, we'd not really done anything. I mean, we'd done Rise on a parking lot
Yeah.
type thing the year before that we just like rocked up to at 4 a.m. So it was really nice to have this like this whole setting, and it just gave the video this like really cool feel that I feel like, I don't know, I'd wanted to do for ages with the group, and we'd not really had the opportunity to do it. And then it being a Mother's Day single was just so lovely as well. Like what made
out
it really
perfectly.
sweet. Maddie's solo as
Maddie's
well. It's
solo
like
is
insane. Like
God.
Incredible.
Voice of the Fringe,
Voice of the Fringe.
Best voice.
deservedly so.
Officially.
Like
Definitely, like incredible solo.
In case you don't live forever, let me tell you now, I'll love you more than you'll ever wrap your head around. In case you don't live forever, let me tell you the truth. I'm everything that I am because of you.
That is a brilliant, brilliant song. So really, really proud of that one. What else did we do in Gen 8?
such a good question.
I feel like I forget. I managed the group this year. I'm like, what did we do?
Lucas.
Yeah.
And that was our first Lucas. wasn't
That
it?
was the first Lucas,
wasn't it?
The first ever.
So, like, I mean, we were just talking about the Tones. Like, they were so amazing that year, and it was so nice of them. And, you know, like you say, Emily Pulford organising the whole thing. And it was so nice to like, be at the first one.
Yeah. And it was, yeah. And having that now done those, because it came after the competitions, like everything was just purely chill and just enjoying watching everyone else and hanging out. And it was such good vibes.
Yeah, it was really lovely to see the other groups as well and enjoy that with all of them. I think I was so ill that time though.
Yeah.
was
Oh,
so
that
ill.
was it. Everyone was ill.
Everyone
We
was
were like
ill.
swapping
We had to swap
solos
all the
last minute.
solos. Poor Maddie had to like learn. I think it was like 3 solos. Had to learn a trio harmony. Oh yeah, crazy. But that's what happens.
It's true. And I mean, like, we learned all that choreo like a week before we learned, like.
It's a quick turnaround for sure, but definitely a highlight for sure. I love that.
I think it paid off. Like, people loved it. You know, like the show as a whole, but also like, you know, people seem to really like what we put on.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
that was like, when you like rush it out, you're always like, oh, I don't know, like, are people gonna like it? Like, we've not really seen it properly. Like,
they get it. They understand. Like, they're all doing it too.
That's true.
And so in Gen 8, we also continued the tradition that started, I think it was a Gen 7, of fast tracks. A proud creation of mine. So what groups were you guys in, and what did we do that year? I mean, I know what we did, but for you guys, what did we do?
We did, the first ones were for Halloween.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I was, what was it? It was a mashup of Disturbia and something, I think Rosa had arranged it.
Oh, yes, that's it. That was like the big horror mashup, wasn't it? Yeah.
Like every single song that like she could think of to cram in.
That was brilliant. Yeah, I loved that. That was a really good one. What were you in?
I was in the same one for Halloween, but I remember the Christmas one because it was Aaron's first arrangement for the group. It was Every Day is Christmas. And we were all there like in, I can't remember, it was definitely your flat. I think it was either your room or someone else's. And we were all there in like coats and like hats, and we had like mugs and stuff. And we were pretending we were cold with like all of these lights on in our coats, like not cold at all. Being
sitting
like,
there, sitting there looking almost wholesome.
Yeah, exactly. And I think a highlight for me as well, for the fast tracks, the Christmas one, was doing Sparkle and Shine.
Can't not mention
Sparkle and Shine. Of course.
One of my proudest Suspensions arrangements that I ever did, which you still do.
Yeah, we took it back as a busking song.
It's just hilarious to me.
Oh my gosh, did you?
Yeah, and they're still doing it. I think they're doing it again this year.
I'm not surprised. It's a banger of a song.
Yeah, that was such a fun day of filming just in our flat, all crammed on my bed. There were so many of us. There was like 10 of us in that one.
Well, it's because we made it optional.
Yeah.
And then because it was optional, everyone just signed up to do both of them. So there were like 10 of us in both.
Yeah, that was such a fun one. And it performed quite well on TikTok.
It was a bit of a hit, yeah.
I was dead chuffed for that.
Probably Aoife just turning around and going, yeah, I've got a star costume.
It was so good.
Do you say turning around?
So
like,
good.
I remember, I can still see it in my mind, her just like coming on from the side with like...
Okay, everybody, clap your hands. I'm a superstar and I'm coming out tonight.
We did End of Year Show.
Yes.
How do you enjoy that? At 1532 again, wasn't it?
1532 again, yeah.
After a bit of a hiatus, because I don't think we did it in 6 and 7, did we?
We didn't in 6. In 7, we performed at a music school. So we got to perform our rep for the year. And that's where we met Heta, who was then support for us at Gen 8's End of Year Show.
Of course. Oh my God. She's unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, she's
unbelievable.
So good. And I mean, she was at Glastonbury the other year, wasn't she? Like
something crazy like that, yeah.
Wild.
She's unbelievable. And that was so lovely to have her support us at End of Year Show. She's just an incredible singer. And I think it really set up the audience really nicely as well.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't a cappella on a cappella. It was kind of like balanced out. And it was also just lovely to watch. Because, you know, when you're going into a show, you're a bit nervous. And having that beautiful, like, piano, it was just quite relaxing to watch at the top.
Although, I've got to say, she does love a bit of a sad song. And so it's like, we're like getting ready to go on stage, wiping tears from our eyes. Like, oh.
They were kind of emotional, but she is an incredible performer. But what do you guys remember about End of Year Show? I think I remember having so much fun that show.
Yeah.
It was great getting to do all of the... Obviously, there was another opening act that I remembered.
I was about to say, we can't like talk about Heta and then not mention Algorithm. Like,
yeah, of course.
That was so. Yeah,
such a blur, isn't it? Yeah, that's so long ago.
Yeah, but it was a lot of fun, kind of having Algorithm there, and it was a load of fun. It was a great audience, obviously, great fun on stage.
You got no choice, babe, but to move on, and you know there ain't no time to wait. Eyes are too blind to see. In the end, you know it's gonna be me. You can't deny, so just tell me why. Ever since I love for you.
moving on to later in the year, we then went to Fringe, which that was definitely not your first Fringe.
That was very much not my first Fringe.
Definitely not. So what was that like, going to SusP's Fringe for 2 weeks compared to like the Out of the Blue Fringe?
There's a weird, and I've said this a lot of times. So Out of the Blue go to Fringe every year for the entire month, which is a bit crazy. I can't lie. It's been a great fun, obviously, and I was really excited to go back with the Suspensions. But there's something about that I remember being like more kind of tired at the end of 2 weeks with the SusPs
Really?
than I was at the end of a month without the Blue. But it was a load of fun doing like a proper like storyline.
Yeah.
With the kind of it was such a good show.
Yeah.
Like in my humble opinion, not I didn't write it, but like with what was written, I loved it. It was so good.
Yeah, I think that's one of my favorite Fringe shows, and I think the marketing campaign that went into that was great.
Again, in your humble opinion.
Well, I know, with the help of Maddie, of course, but the campaign that we came up with and that we delivered, I think was really great, and we had so much fun with it.
Yeah,
we had so much fun with it. We recorded so much content with all the members' photo shoots, little reels. We got the rest of the a cappella groups in the UK involved, alumni involved in a video to promote the show, and it was just that for me was a highlight, getting all those people involved, and it was so much fun. And the posters were great.
Yeah.
And
And the show was great.
The show was really great.
You know, I don't think people would have tried as hard to like make sure that the marketing was amazing. I don't think people would have put as much in if we didn't, as a group, feel like we had something really special with the show.
Yeah, definitely. And I think it sold really well naturally, and everyone was so excited by it and just loved performing it. And I think it was, definitely
everyone gave it their all.
100% every single day.
Yeah.
And like Fringe is intense because so basically you get up at what time did we get up? Like 9
We were
a.m.?
on the mile every day at 10, I'm sure.
Yeah, on the mile every day at 10, flyering, having a lunch break, and then going to our show at, what was it, 2:55?
Yeah, about then.
Yeah. And then so the show's 50 minutes, and we did a bit of a storyline, which is what we usually do at Fringe. And then...
Have we said yet that it was Mean Girls?
I don't know.
I don't think we've actually said. That was the Mean Girls show. On Wednesdays we wear maroon.
Mean Girls-inspired jukebox a cappella musical, which is...
Take a flight.
As we always say.
I think my favourite, and I will say this because I am big-headed and very proud, but like it was the review that we got that was like, I don't want to name any names because the whole group worked together as such a strong team. The music was amazing. The direction was amazing. The script was amazing. But Mikey and Ryan's choreo, that was so good. And it was like after saying they weren't going to name anyone. And Mikey and I were just sat there like reading we read the review as a group because it was like the first review we'd got. We were so excited to have one. And so we read it as a group. And when whoever was reading it out said that, Mikey and I just looked at each other like, yeah!
It was sat in the square and somebody read out the whole review to us all, and it was just a really emotional moment, and just it was such a lovely time, just kind of come off the high of a performance, getting that, and then we all just went to McDonald's.
Yes,
we all treated ourselves to a Mackey's.
Absolutely,
because we deserved it after that. We were so knackered from that performance, and then just getting those amazing words and hearing that all the hard work had paid off.
And I think we'd already sold out that day.
I think that we'd taken an extra long lunch because we knew that we didn't have to sell tickets that day. And it's like, it's one of those where it's like, of course it's nice to get a good review, but when you're there, the only people you're talking to about your show are your friends and stuff. And so obviously they're going to enjoy it. It's like your friends and family, they've come to watch you, but like a reviewer watching it, you know, they don't know you. They have probably seen 20 or 30 shows that week.
Exactly.
And so for them to like give you a good review, it's just
like you've
it's
made
so
something
validating.
objectively good.
Yeah.
Definitely. And I just think it was such a special moment for us as a group, and I felt really unified, and everyone was so proud of each other, and it was just, I love that moment. But speaking of that, what are your highlights or favorite moments and memories from Gen 8?
From the whole
year.
Oh,
I mean, I really enjoyed at the end of Fringe coming down Arthur's seat at like it was like
that was
7:30.
really
It was
late.
it was like 6 of us, the 3 of us were there.
Yeah, we were up
It was
so late.
Mikey and I want to say Cam, I think.
Yeah.
And it was Mikey sobbing for like the whole
Oh my God,
7
Mikey was
hours.
so
remember that.
emotional.
It was like
I didn't see that coming. I did not see that coming for Mikey.
No, but it was so funny because he was having a good time. He was having a good time. But it was, we're all quite emotional people. We're like musical theatre people.
Yeah,
so us
definitely.
looking at Mikey and being like, all right, hammer it up.
Chill out.
there's something about like going up Arthur's seat like first thing in the morning when you're completely exhausted after
Yes.
2 or however many weeks of straight performance.
Yeah.
That really just brings out the emotion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
It's awful while you're climbing, but then when you get up there's no other kind of state you'd rather be in.
That is true. But my God, is it a walk?
It is.
You think, oh, it's just up there. And then you get over the first kind of peak. And then you see the actual peak is up another peak.
Well, the only reason it was such a hard walk that year is because we were quite drunk when we got there, and
Yeah.
whoever we were following didn't realize there was a path and just like started scrambling up the side. And so all of us scrambled up the side. So next year when we went up, we followed the path and it was a
Right.
little bit easier.
That makes a bit
but,
more sense. Yeah, definitely. Rather than scaling
But
up.
also, I think part of the fun was scaling up it whilst incredibly drunk. I think it added to it.
Please drink responsibly. Yeah, that was definitely a highlight. And so, was that your highlight?
That was my habit.
That was
Okay, so Ben, what's your
I
highlight?
really want to. No, I'll talk about it. So ICCAs. So the running order is picked on the day,
Yeah.
and suspensions were picked to go 1st, which is generally like not where you want to be. You kind of end up as the warm up act for the rest.
Yeah.
The kind of the vibe is still being figured out.
Yeah, true.
But in my case, the first song we did was "I'm Ready," which is Ryan's solo. The way that song had been arranged and choreoed by, again, partly due to Ryan, everyone kind of comes on, stands to the side, and I come on in the middle with my head down. So this was the opening of the
Yes.
entire ICCAs.
Yeah. And
The
your first
suspensions have been
ICCAs.
my first ever ICCAs.
Yeah.
Everyone comes on, stands to the side, like almost creates like a full pathway for me to come on, walk on center stage, my head down, microphone in hand, raise it, and go. First sounds
Insane.
of the entire ICCAs. First sounds of my ICCAs ever. Yeah, that was quite a moment.
Yeah. That's insane.
I had never thought about that.
No,
like for you.
I got to open the ICCAs with some beatboxing.
And so you were in the group as a tenor and also as a beatboxer.
Yes, I mean Nathan kind of took on most of the beatboxing. He was kind of the primary, but we did a couple of songs. I did Come Alive on my own, and we did I'm Ready and Love Sweet Love as joint
love Love,
beatboxers.
Sweet Love.
It was such a fun song.
Such a good
And
song.
that is another one of the reasons I really wanted to join the SusPs was like because I had been the only beatboxer in Out of the Blue for 4 years. I saw what SusPs had been doing with like dual beatboxers.
Yeah.
I really wanted to be a part of that, and then joining Nathan on those songs was loads of fun.
Yeah, definitely. And so what were some of your favorite sounds to do beatboxing wise
So in general, or that I did with SusPs,
that you did with SusPs?
they're basically
Or in
just
general.
they
I was gonna
basically
say, I wanna know
in
both.
SusPs like they basically just come from I'm Ready. There's like
Yeah.
and the there's
Sick.
there's like put in like some good moments for me. Otherwise, it's just kind of cool drums that I was doing. But yeah, there was some fun stuff.
Amazing.
Yeah, I don't think I ever did any like. That's probably my favorite sound in general.
Is that your favorite sound to do?
Yeah, it's called the fart bass.
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah.
All the people at home with their
figures.
headphones, like, wow, what's going on?
And so that leads us quite nicely onto what was your favorite song that year?
I'm a bit biased. Come Alive.
Come Alive, yeah.
Fair,
What about you, Ryan?
Mine's, I mean, it's got to be World on Fire for me.
Oh, I love World on
like,
Fire.
It was so, because we had Connie joining us for Fringe, and so it was like, they had, you know, they auditioned for the solo, and it was like,
Connie
Connie
and
was
Oscar.
so perfect for it, and Oscar's, like,
They went.
it was
for
like
so
basically
hard.
written for Oscar, and then for Connie to like come along and just like their voices together was so good, and then the scat solo was like,
Yeah.
like, I mean, I still listen to the Teach track like from time to time, just like just to get my little fix.
The
you know?
arrangement is ridiculous, and everyone pulled it off so well.
Yeah.
Because
it's
that was
definitely
another
a
one.
favourite of mine.
We learned it so quickly as well. So everyone was like a little bit worried about it before end of year show. And we came off stage, and I remember turning to, I can't remember who it was, but I turned to them and I just went, we had no right sounding that good on World on Fire. There is absolutely no way that we just did that.
Such a good song. I really love that song.
Like that. And by the way, just to talk a little more about Come Alive.
Go for it.
Obviously, the beatboxing was fun, but like it was the closer to our show.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was kind of loads of people got to solo, just do little bits of, and it's just such a fun song.
Yeah, it
it's
really is.
so much fun to kind of the sound, the moves, and just that little bit at the end where in the Fringe show you got to like do your ending speech.
Yeah, that's a tradition of Sus. We always like kind of loop the backing for a song for like a couple of bars, and then usually it's the manager has to kind of quickly be like, thank you so much for coming to the Fringe, and like just kind of basically reel off a quick thing before the sound technician's like, finish in minutes, got stop now. So that's definitely, that's always a fun moment. Although, yeah, it's always quite hectic when you get up and you're suddenly like, oh my God, I've got to say words after a 50-minute full out performance. But yeah, definitely it's a favourite of mine. And then going straight into the finale for Come Alive, brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
So good. Such a good ending.
I have to say one of my favourite songs that year was Flying, just because of how gorgeous it is, the arrangement that Rose and Nathan did, with like a hint of my help, but like barely, a couple of inspirational moments.
Your name's on the score.
I know, but
We're a very humble panel today.
yeah, but yeah, that's definitely a favourite song of mine.
I also think it's worth like saying that was the first year we did the Riff-Off.
Oh,
Like that was like a
Oh my
huge
gosh.
thing. It's like now it's become like
Yeah.
a staple for the group to do.
So-
because it replaced upper and lower voices medleys.
You're right. Yeah.
Yeah. And that was a load of fun.
That was so much fun. I wasn't sure how that was going to go, but I think the arrangement for it was really well done. And now that's the tradition, isn't it? You did
Yeah,
that
we're still
in the
keeping it
latest
on as far as I
Fringe.
know. we
Yeah,
did
I
at
think
Gen
that was
9.
a real fun project to work on because you weren't just working with the upper voices or the lower voices. You had everyone's voice on different parts and also beatboxing in both sections. It was just, yeah, I really loved the Riff-Off. What was your favourite section of the Riff-Off?
Well, mine, like it has to be in the previous Sus songs when we did I Can't Make You Love Me.
Yes.
Because like, you know, it's every baritone's dream to
Yeah.
have a ballad solo.
I loved that song.
And so like, you know, to be a baritone singing a solo, because it doesn't really happen very often in mixed groups, especially. And so like, it was so gorgeous. And like, I remember the first time I sang it and Oscar came up to me and he was like, Ryan, that was like so perfect and so beautiful. Did it help that I changed the key every night? You know, it was like I sang it in whatever key I wanted to sing it
It's
in.
fine, it's a Riff-Off,
because
it always
it, you
comes
know,
back
it
to the
made
next
me,
round.
it made me, you know, I sang it better in whatever key I wanted to.
Yeah,
but
exactly. What was your favourite section of Riff-Off?
This wasn't my favourite, but I do love that kind of we managed to condense Heartburn song down into kind of half the parts, essentially, and it's still...
That was a real highlight for me as well, getting to sing Heartburn on stage for the first time, and with newbies as well, from that 8th generation. But yeah, love that a lot.
I think my favourite genuinely might have been, I hope I'm pronouncing this right, Zitia Boni. It's kind of...
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God, yeah. Zitia Boni,
kind of shout you out on that.
Yeah, we did a Eurovision section of the Riff-Off, and somehow I always get left with the foreign language solos. But when I tell you I studied this rap, Zitia Boni by Maneskin, for the Riff-Off, I studied it. The lyrics were like written out in my diary, and I was looking at them every day. I had so much fun doing that. I got a bit carried away, a bit crazy.
In the best way possible.
In the best way possible. But yeah, that was probably a highlight for me.
Oh, it was every time you did it, I would just like watch the faces of the people in the front row just go, because like you just start rapping very fast in Italian in the middle of what is essentially a very cheesy musical theatre show, and it's just so out of nowhere, and everybody else is going dum dum da, and it's like
my personality completely changed.
It's like change of vibe.
Yeah, it is. That was I forgot about that. But yeah, you're right, definitely that was a really funny bit.
Also, what was like the joke Eurovision song? I forget its name.
Yeah, ding dong.
Yeah, ding dong.
Yeah, we also had to squeeze that one in, obviously. And so to round off this episode of the podcast, I wanted to ask, what are you most excited for the 10-year anniversary show?
I mean, I have to circle back, like seeing those old groups perform again. I am very much looking forward to that because they are awesome.
Yeah, definitely.
And seeing kind of how amazing SusPs have always been, but I'm also so looking forward to seeing the newbies.
Yes. I'm really excited, and especially because we even had a newbie come and do a podcast episode with us, which was so exciting and so amazing of her to just throw herself in there. But yeah, I'm really excited to see Gen 10 and their performance and what they've got in store. What about you? What are you excited for?
I mean, I'm the same as Ben. It's like since joining the group, I've become a bit of an a cappella super fan. And so like the chance to like watch 10 generations of Suspensions, it's like, you know, I watched Aqua's 10-year show last year, and like watching 10 years of a cappella was like insane. And so like...
It was really emotional.
It was super emotional. And like, that was a group that I wasn't really in, and I only sort of knew a couple of people. So like to... you know, watch 5 years of a group that I know and love, and then to be in another 4 is going to be like, you know, I'm going to be a wreck at the end of Gen 9. Like,
it's going to be an emotional night, but I'm really excited, and we're going to have lots of quality time together as like a whole 10 years. Because
I can't wait.
How many of us are going? Is it 70?
It's like 70. There must be
people in the whole kind of network, but yeah, I'm so excited. So if you haven't yet got your tickets, it's on the 3rd of February, which should be in a couple of weeks by the time this comes out. So grab your tickets and we will see you there. But thanks so much for tuning in, and we'll see you next week. Thanks so much. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.